The sky above Kuo Academy was a serene shade of blue, but the calm was deceiving. Beneath its seemingly ordinary surface, forces were at play that would change everything for him. He walked through the schoolyard, completely unaware that today would mark the start of an unimaginable journey. His life, though mundane, was about to take a turn that would leave him questioning everything he thought he knew about the world. Little did he know, someone was watching him, a presence both captivating and dangerous. He had always considered himself just another face in the crowd, living a life as unremarkable as his grades. But that day, everything felt slightly off. It started with a peculiar glance from a girl he'd never spoken to before. She wasn't just beautiful. There was something otherworldly about her. She approached him with a smile that seemed almost too perfect. "Would you like to go out with me?" she asked, her voice soft and inviting. He froze, unsure if this was some sort of elaborate prank, but as he looked into her eyes, he realized she was serious. It felt too good to be true, and, in hindsight, maybe it was. Their first date was like something out of a dream. They laughed, shared stories, and, for a moment, he felt like the luckiest guy in the world. But as the sun dipped below the horizon, the atmosphere shifted. They found themselves in a secluded park, and her demeanor changed entirely. "I'm sorry," she said, her voice tinged with regret. "This is the end for you." Before he could react, shadows began to swirl around her. Her once gentle smile twisted into something dark and menacing. What was happening? Or what was she? The next moments blurred together as pain shot through his body. She had struck him down without hesitation, leaving him to bleed out under the cold night sky. As his vision blurred, a single question consumed his thoughts. Why me? But just as the darkness began to claim him, a soft voice echoed in his mind. "Do you wish to live?" It was a question so simple, yet profound, and without fully understanding why, he whispered yes. He awoke the next morning in his own bed, unharmed, but with a strange symbol glowing faintly on his hand. At first, he thought it had all been a dream, a vivid nightmare born from his overactive imagination. But when he arrived at school, she was there. Not the girl who had betrayed him, but someone else entirely. She was the epitome of grace and beauty, and yet she seemed to radiate a power that left him both awed and uneasy. She approached him with an air of authority. "We need to talk," she said, her eyes locking onto his. What could she possibly want from him? In a quiet, secluded room, she explained everything. The world wasn't as simple as he had believed. Hidden from ordinary humans was a war, one that had been raging for centuries between forces of light and darkness. "You were caught in the middle of it," she said, "and now you're one of us." Her words were as terrifying as they were exhilarating. He wasn't just some average guy anymore. He'd been brought back to life, but at a cost. "From this day forward, you belong to me," she declared, her tone leaving no room for argument. Adjusting to his new reality was anything but easy. He found himself surrounded by people, or rather, beings he couldn't fully understand. They were powerful, cunning, and seemed to know far more about his situation than they were willing to share. And yet, he felt an odd sense of belonging among them. But questions lingered in his mind. Why had he been chosen? What role was he meant to play in this war? And most importantly, could he trust those who now claimed to be his allies? His first mission came sooner than he expected. It was supposed to be simple, a routine patrol to identify potential threats. But things quickly spiraled out of control. A rival faction ambushed them, their powers far exceeding anything he had witnessed before. For the first time, he realized just how dangerous this world truly was. Cornered and outmatched, he felt fear like never before. But as the enemy closed in, something inside him awakened, a surge of power that left even his attackers stunned. Where had this strength come from? In the aftermath of the battle, he couldn't shake the feeling that there was more to his new life than he had been told. The people who had saved him seemed to be hiding secrets that could change everything. As he trained and fought alongside them, he began to notice cracks in their stories, inconsistencies that made him question their true motives. Were they really his allies, or was he just a pawn in a much larger game? One night, he overheard a conversation that wasn't meant for his ears. The words were cryptic, but their implications were clear. He was at the center of something far bigger than himself. As he confronted the person he thought he could trust most, she smiled. A smile that sent chills down his spine. "You'll understand in time," she said. "For now, just do as you're told." His heart raced as he realized the truth. He couldn't trust anyone. What would he do next?